YouTube, what's going on? It is SoraLifeStory, and we are here again with another video. It is a slide day, and today I want to talk about my feelings on Nintendo. In a past video that I just did like a day ago or so ago, I was talking about how pretty much June, like for me for gaming, it just felt like really underwhelming. And I know that's kind of crazy to say with the release of the Nintendo Switch 2 last month. But that's kind of where the disappointment kind of started. And it was less the fact of how I actually feel about the Switch 2 and things like that. Because, at least for me, and I've been very vocal about that, I think the Switch 2 is a really excellent gaming device. And I never for a second thought that the price of it was bad, unlike most people thought. People thought that 450 was too much. I never thought the price of the actual system was bad. What I did have issue with was the $80 Mario Kart World. I had an issue with game chat being behind a paywall, even though it is not right now, which I feel that a lot of people, for whatever reason, very much so fail to explain to people that it is not at the moment, it is not right now required to have Nintendo Switch Online to use game chat. But I do have a problem with that. I also have a problem with the screen, at least with the issues that people are talking about, because while on video, that they're capturing video, I'm seeing this and I'm able to see the screen. My main issue with it is just the fact that the tech between handheld mode and docked mode is not consistent. I do not understand why VRR, if it's on handheld mode, why it's not in docked mode. A lot of people say it's because of the transfer process between the display port and the HDMI on the Switch 2 dock. Nintendo should have figured that out. And if it's just software, that makes it even more crazy. This is my whole thing with Nintendo currently and with the Switch 2 and all of that. The Switch 2 is like already, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. It is already 2 years too late, man. The Switch 2 should have released in 2023. If not 2023, 2024. Because the Switch 1 was already underpowered. Now, on top of that, my main thing was just that so many developers and even Nintendo themselves, their games were struggling on Switch 1. So by like 2023, I was like, it's time for a Switch 2. And the reason why I feel that way and why I spoke on that is because so many people that I know and friends and stuff like that, they were putting their Switch 1s down. And I'm like, why do so many people not play the Switch 1? The Switch 1 is a great device. I mean, it's a handheld, it's light, easy to carry. I mean, you can still play it on TV in handheld mode. You can do whatever with it. So I was really trying to grasp my hand around the concept. I understood that the Nintendo Switch was more of like a daily device. Like there's a lot of days where, and don't get me wrong, I love my PlayStation 5 and I like to play my PlayStation 5 every day. So it's not even that. It's just the thing of it's more convenient to just I could pick up my Switch for like 30 minutes to an hour and I can play Xenoblade and I can play some of the ports that were on the game. Yes, they're older games that I'm playing, but I could play some of those ports and I can play them on my Switch 1 and it's like right there. And I was trying to understand like how do I see that this way but others don't. And the main thing behind it is just that like, one, people enjoy what it is that they like to play. So that's the first part of it. People are gonna play on what they want to play on, and I can say for a lot of people, the reality of it is just that the Nintendo Switch was a fad for them, which is cool. Like I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad if you don't use the Switch One the same way that I use it. That's not the issue. I just look at it from the standpoint of I understand what's happening with this console, and I understand that yes, there are more powerful hardwares that came out with PC handhelds and all that, but you just cannot, go wrong with the Nintendo Switch. Like, it's just an easy device. And the Switch 2 was just supposed to be more of that. I was never with the people that tried to sit there and be like, the Switch 2, oh, it's not powerful enough, or oh, it's not competing with these other PC handhelds and stuff like that. I was never the person to agree with them. My biggest thing was always, we needed upgraded system. It doesn't need to be super gimmicky. Just add a few things that makes it look slightly, more something new, but not something crazy. And then just do more of the same. And for years, that was the same sentiment from a lot of people up until we got up to April and like earlier in January this year, and we revealed the Switch 2, and a lot of people were like, wait, it's not that much different. What's going on? That's not Nintendo. We've been asking for years for the same thing but better, but then all of a sudden, now that it's getting close to release, you get the same thing but better, and it's not enough. That doesn't make sense. That goes back to the video I made on Dreamcast Guy earlier this week, and I'm gonna do more videos like that going forward, guys. So thank y'all for watching. But yeah, I just do not understand how we are in this place where, okay, the system is out, and then I just don't really, I don't really want it anymore. And the cause for that is because Nintendo has just been fumbling the bag. You got Nintendo out here bricking people's Switches for no reason. You got Nintendo out here with a bunch of different anti-consumer practices, and it just makes me want the Switch 2 less. In the sense that I don't want it right now. Now in the future, I definitely feel okay with just, hey, I get a Switch 2 and it'll be cool. As of right now, it's just not a big deal. But this is just me rambling. I just wanted to talk about, how I feel about everything. President Furukawa at Nintendo, he actually has addressed some of the concerns around pricing and things like that around the Switch 2, talking about how they're going to leverage their other uses of the Nintendo IP to try to get people to indulge through Switch 2 that way. I think that's a good idea, but I think the grand scheme and the overall look of what we need to take away from this is that we do not need to support Nintendo when they do not support us. We are the reason why they are where they are now, and we are the reason for the success of the Switch 1. And I still love my Switch 1. I actually have a Switch OLED, so that also makes me less in a space of wanting to jump right into the Switch 2 bandwagon. But I still want one. It's what I wanted, at least from the next Nintendo console. But we'll see whenever I decide to get one, whenever I feel like it's affordable for me and things like that. In the meantime, those that do have a Switch 2, I hope that you enjoy it. But please, 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 please do not act like Nintendo has not been anti-consumer. Please do not act like things have just been okay, because they have not. Anyways, this is SoraLifeStory. It is a slide day. Hopefully my thoughts, I didn't ramble too much here, but hopefully I got my thoughts across. Y'all have a blessed day, and peace.